All right. All right, ma'am, you're all set to go.
Okay, at 6:03, we're going to call the meeting to order and have a roll call. I'll call names, so you could either wave your hand, right? Or do people need to? Okay, waving hand is okay. Okay, thank you for bearing with me, everyone. Or you can just click on your reactions and put your hand up also. That's another way that you can vote and also make yourself known in case you didn't want to talk for some reason. Okay. Sage Alexander. Okay. These are in alpha order. Okay. Laurel Alterman. Laurel not on today. Pamela Batchelor. Teresa Baxter is here. Stephanie Burris.
Here.
Susan Horowitz. Iris Hannon. Iris not on. Okay. Danielle Cavity.
Here.
Eva Lacey.
Here.
I'm here. Melanie, is it Niesky or Nesky?
It's both, but I say Nesky.
Okay.
Here.
All right. Well, okay, good. Nettie Pinman.
Yeah, I'm here.
And Cindy Tiger.
Here.
Yes. Okay. And also attending welcomes our new city council liaison, Susie Hidalgo Fari. Thank you for coming to visit us. And Eric Mason. Right? Is it Mason? Am I right? Oh my God, I got it right. Okay.
And two staff people.
And two staff. Right. And Angela and Laura, our staff members. Okay. Okay, so we're so excited to welcome our two new commissioners this month. Okay, we promise we will have fun. And we would like to invite you, Sage and Eva, to just make a few comments if you would like to, and say what you would like to contribute to the commission and what got you interested in doing this. Just briefly, please. So Eva, you want to start? Is it Eve or Eva? Eva? Eve.
Sorry, it's Eve.
Okay.
But I answer to probably either. I'm excited to join this group because I love the art that's in town, and so I thought it would be very, very interesting to participate in the selection and the maintenance of what we have. And it seems like a good group.
Okay, great. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, Sage.
Hi, I'm Sage. My pronouns are he, they. I wanted to be part of this group. I also enjoy the art in Longmont, but I just graduated in May with an associate's degree in studio art, and I'm pursuing my education at CU Boulder currently in the arts. So it's just a field that I really want to break into and be a part of professionally. And I thought this would be an excellent way to get involved, meet people, see how things are, I guess, conducted on more of the back end. And yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Okay, great. Welcome. And Sage is one of our shock art artists also. So
Welcome to our new people.
yes, welcome. Okay, thank you. Do we have any public invited to be heard? Okay.
Nope. And Susie, did you want to say hello?
Oh, I'm sorry, Susie.
That's okay.
Welcome.
No, it's all right. I actually, this meeting started, I'm doing sub plans. I have bronchitis, so which I'm probably not going to be saying much, and I'm kind of loopy from meds anyways. So, yeah, I was doing sub plans, and then I saw, I got to get up this meeting. So it worked that it was virtual. So I am very happy. I have a background in art. I was visual and performing arts major, and my intent before getting into education was actually, I was studying animation. So I'm very excited to be a part of this. I'm also the liaison to the Museum Advisory Board with Eric over there. And yeah, I have a passion for the arts, so, and how to kind of support and get this interwoven in our community and get it funded. So I'm happy to be here.
Okay,
And
thank
you're
you.
also the youth council liaison as well, am I correct?
Yes, I'm on the library and the youth council as well.
That's gonna be,
So there, yeah, there's ways where we can interweave a lot of things. And then with what I do with the public schools, yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, welcome. We're glad to have you. We always enjoy our city council liaisons. I do anyway. Okay, so now we go to the minutes for the November 16th meeting. Do the minutes look good to everyone? Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Okay, so keeping in mind that when we vote to approve the minutes, if you were not at the November meeting, then you must abstain, please. So this is for people attending the November meeting. Okay, so will anyone make a motion to approve the minutes from
I
the
move
November
we
meeting?
approve the minutes as written.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Okay, so Cindy moves. And, okay. Now I'm finding out what this really involves, like making all these notes.
That was
Um,
that was Stephanie seconding. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
Stephanie second. So now what? Now I just call for the vote? You'd think I would pay more attention. Okay, so everyone that votes for approval of the minutes, please raise your hand. Do I vote too? I vote too. Yeah, okay. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we have 7 yay votes, and is that right? And one, and
and then just
the
call
rest
for
abstentions.
nays. So if there are any nays,
Are there any nay votes? Okay, great. 0 nays.
and now call for abstentions,
Okay, for abstentions, for those who were not at the November meeting.
which should be 3.
1, 2, 3. Yep.
Yep,
Okay.
that adds up.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with me. Of course, I've run a zillion meetings in my life, but Robert's rules is not my most fluent. Are there any additions or corrections to tonight's meeting?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I messed up 2 things. So in the agenda that you received with this meeting announcement, that's correct. Laura will change it online with PrimeGov. But the exhibition that is opening on the 26th in the museum is not Lego yet. I just got so excited about Legos. I just put it in there.
I was going to ask you about that.
It will happen, but it's not that. Sorry, it's Picturing the West. So it's corrected in your current, but we will correct it. So just so you have that. And then there are 2 February dates for Save the Date. I'm sorry, this is under Save the Date. One of which is there is going to be a volunteer appreciation in February, which is not on the 14th. It is on the 13th.
13th. It's okay. It's not the Valentine's Day party, but it's not on Valentine's Day. It's the day before. So it's Tuesday, February
Tuesday.
13th.
And you are all invited and will receive a formal invitation if you have not already. And we will also have a selection panel orientation on Saturday, February 24th from 10 till noon. And so we will talk all about this later, but those are the corrections. And Lego is coming.
Okay,
So that's
so
it.
the Tuesday, February 13th is not on our agenda? It's not on there somewhere? It's not on my dates on the bottom right here.
Yeah, it's
All right.
it's corrected
Whatever.
now.
All
and
right,
you will
that
be
sounds
sent
good.
the update. Okay.
Yes, we'll all get an invitation and remind us again about that.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Angela, thank you for all your hard work on the agenda. Okay, Susie, now you get to talk about the council if you would like to.
Okay, first of all, I wanted to know, does anyone have any questions? And, in each meeting that I've attended to, it goes around a little different. In some spaces, people have submitted questions ahead of time and I've, acquired the answers, shared out, for NGLA, the Neighborhood Group Leadership Association. Other ones I have, just provided updates that were relative to the group. And then others, it was a general, and then others, nothing. unless folks had questions. So did anyone have any questions for us? I don't know if you all convened after the election. Did you all meet after, after the results of the ballot measures? Okay.
We did. We had a
We
we had a
did.
meeting in November. Yes.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if, if you had a chance to discuss those. Those were ones that I did discuss at our library and youth council meetings. So if anyone had any questions around that, I'd be happy to answer those. We're doing a lot of work with the housing authority. Really the focus right now is, just getting that affordable housing units up. And then on the attainable side, the mid-tier housing, we're really kind of shifting our gears into looking at more opportunities for people to purchase affordable and attainable housing. So that's kind of, we're working with the state and ARPA dollars at the federal level to acquire funds so people can actually build equity rather than just renting. So those are some of the big things we're working on as well.
Okay, great. I'm glad to hear about this. This is great. Thank you.
Yeah, me too, as a tenant, me too. So
Great.
Okay.
So I think for a protocol, do you have a preference, Susie, of whether people submit questions in advance or if we just kind of have open forum?
we could have an open forum, and then if anybody has a pressing, something that's pressing, I am welcome to take, please, they could email you a question and I could be
Okay.
prepared to share out my answer. Otherwise, we could just do the open forum and I
Okay.
could just update what our weekly business.
That's how we've done it in the past, but I personally have no opinion of how we go about it. So yeah. So maybe for today, open forum. And
Yep.
so if anybody has questions for Susie, and then in the future, if you want to just send questions to me in advance so we can be efficient. And also for the record, welcome Pamela and Iris at 6:15.
Oh God.
Whoop.
I don't think
mute yourself, Pamela, please.
I got it.
All right, thank
All
you.
right. All right. So does anybody have any
All right,
questions
so-
for Susie?
Oh, you must have
We're a
heard
lively
me.
bunch.
I can't hear you. If you can hear me, I can't hear you.
We can hear you. Yes.
Yeah.
My dinner has been delivered.
I'm gonna call Pamela. Keep going.
Okay. My dinner has been delivered, but hold on.
Well, Susie, can I ask you a question? Since we'll just.
Yes, please
Yeah.
do, Stephanie.
And for the record, it wasn't me who had made that comment.
Oh, I know it wasn't you. We know who it was. We know the culprit. Obviously having technical difficulties, and that's okay. We've all been there.
We've been there. This time it wasn't me though.
Exactly. So just wondered like why you chose to be on, to be our liaison, and do the museum at the same time. And just tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so like I
Impression.
had said, oh, I think sure.
I can't hear anybody.
Okay, I don't know if she muted herself.
Yeah.
I don't think she did.
Okay, so she's still unmuted. Well, I'll try to get it.
Okay, what do you want me to say? I can say something.
Ah, now she's muted.
Okay, perfect. So
Yeah.
thank you. I'm sorry, I'm ADD. Like one conversation at a time. So, like I said earlier,
No.
my background is in art. So I just personally, I have a passion for that piece. But when I sat on the library, in conjunction with the youth council, I found that there were ways that we were able to coordinate efforts and me being able to hear what youth council is doing and how we could tie it into work at the library and vice versa. With the museum, there's so many things that as a school teacher, I've been able to provide input as well as being able to pull resources for the classroom. So I'm all about like how we can interweave equal themes.
Uh-huh.
And, so that was kind of my idea. I had tried to get on the last round, but someone else had, I think I already had 5 and
Yeah.
the
Just
references.
to balance it all. So,
It was balancing it all. So this time, I got the luck of the draws.
oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited to be here. And, again, I enjoy seeing the work around here and other things that I see work that I see students doing. And I think this is a great avenue to get them engaged and be a part of the process. So being and knowing, monthly what you all are doing and how I can coordinate it in work that I do in the community as well.
Yeah, and we have been, with the addition of Laura, we've been doing more outreach and more social media about our activities and more letting the community know what we do, which has been a focus we've had over the last year or so. And so I'm excited that you could let, more students know about what we do and the programs in town. And yeah, since I've been on the commission since 2021, we have been, being more and more visible and more engaging the community. So, of course, at the beginning of my term was during the middle of COVID when not much outreach was going on. Okay, well, my dinner is here and I have fans all around me trying to get into my plate. That's what all this barking and carrying on. I've got 2 kitties here waiting for bites and a dog. Anyway, that's story.
So I'll continue the
Go
meeting
ahead.
forward while you go get your food. Now you're muted, so I can't hear you.
I have my food. I
Okay.
have my fans all around me trying to get into the food.
Got it.
All
Okay.
right.
Oh, fans.
So-
I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So everything is okay with me. All right. So, if I need to, I'll text Marty to come get this dog so she doesn't bark through our meeting. Okay. Does anybody else want to ask anything or make any comments having to do with city council? Okay.
Hi.
Iris has her hands up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Iris, excuse me.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, I was late coming in, so I didn't hear everything at the beginning of what you were talking about. But when you were talking about working on affordable housing, are we talking about housing for the homeless still too?
So that is one of the things that we're doing with the Longmont Housing Authority. We are also commissioners to the Housing Authority,
Okay.
kind of bringing it into financial stability. One of the projects that we are working on that that's been in the process for the last couple of years is the Zinnia project that will be built over by the suites back behind Village at the Peaks.
Okay.
There's we're building I think it's 85, a lot of numbers in my head. So 85 supportive housing units, and these are for unhoused individuals and with wraparound services. So that particular piece, so we're kind of, it's not just a one scope of what we're
Right.
trying to address. We're
Right.
looking at, assisting with unhoused, providing those wraparound services, building the life skills and the mental health stability that they need to be successful in housing, as well as affordable housing and attainable, that workforce or mid-tier housing.
Okay.
you know, another focus, it's like kind of balancing out to providing more opportunities for people to purchase.
So
homes.
when you said individual units, is that gonna be like inside an existing building or hotel, or is this units that are gonna be brand new?
Brand new.
Brand new, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I know they so units could also mean single family home. So it's
Right.
just a mix. It could be apartment, townhome, condo, a single family home. So it's,
Okay,
I think, you know, just, they've just kind of referred to it as units. I think that's statewide, national wide, they, in reference to housing.
okay, thank you.
Okay, sure.
What are you gonna do?
Okay.
Who's
Do
next on the
something,
agenda?
Angela.
So we need to start looking at the dates for our next or our year's worth of meetings. This is something that we do every year at the beginning of the year. Currently, we are scheduled for the third Thursday of every month from 6 to 8 p.m. Those dates are at the bottom of your agenda, so you can refer to them. So I think we just need to have discussion if this date and time still works for everyone. We had talked about in the fall about revisiting this. Oh, and the location also. So eventually at the end of this discussion, we do need a motion to approve the date and time and location of our meetings going forward for the year.
Angela, are there any location change proposals? Aren't we still planning on just using the museum?
Yes.
Okay.
It's much easier from an administrative point of view to administer this program from where we office, for a variety of reasons. You know, setup of chairs and having access to tech, because these meetings are all open to the public, you know, having our front desk staff, our reliable front desk staff. We also understand the protocol of cleanup and taking out our own garbage and things along those lines. That said, there has been discussion in the past of starting this meeting a little bit earlier. In the same vein, we do have people who work a regular job time. So yeah, Sage.
To that point of meeting time, my classes this semester are over at 5 p.m. and that's in Boulder. And so I think if it were moved earlier than 6, I would probably be late, and that's fine if it works for most people to have it be earlier. But yeah, my classes are over at 5 in Boulder, so commute time is a factor for me.
Yeah, I prefer 6.
I'm also on board for 6.
Could we, just to throw a wild hair in here, is anybody open to considering changing the evening? Because it seems to me, not so much recently, but several times in the past, there have been things happening at the museum on Thursday nights that are really attractive to me. And they usually start at 7, so that means I can't do both. Like, would Wednesdays work, or is that a whole
But we have to
snafu
pay
with
people to stay late to do
available?
that.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you because I was talking. Sorry. Did you want to say something, Pamela? Now now you're muted.
Hold on.
If we change the date, we have to bring on extra staff to man the front desk to let us in.
Is that
And that's
right,
a
Angela?
problem, huh? Okay.
So at this point in time, the other consideration is that there are other commission meetings on other days of the week, and city council has gone through all of those, looked at their schedule and arrived at that. I think moving from the Thursday time, the Thursday is very difficult. That said, I would, to Nettie's point, if there are things that are extracurricular that you want to do at the museum, you know, these meetings, like coming for a little bit and exiting early, or being choosy about which ones you come to, is completely your option, because you're a civil servant and those are your choices. I know. But yes,
Mhm.
Thursday nights at the museum are program nights, and that's why we already have built-in staff for evening meetings.
Okay.
So I think moving from Thursdays is quite difficult.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yeah, I think I had suggested that we start a half hour early so that we could attend some of the museum events and like the paint and sip classes and stuff like that. Like we could even go as a group, because people have expressed the desire to, you know, to bond as well as a group. But it sounds like there wasn't really support for that, or it just isn't possible. And we don't want to leave Sage out. Sage, we don't want to, you know, miss you. So I would just say I move that we keep our date and time and location clearly.
I would like to second that.
You'll have to bear with me if I skip out and go to a concert in summer.
Yeah.
Sure.
The only bad thing about that is staff can't go with you,
Yeah, I'll just kidnap you.
right?
Yeah.
Now you see her, now you
You too,
don't.
Eric. I'm
Just-
coming for you.
That's all right.
Right,
No,
Susan, did you want to say something?
My question was answered, that if we
Okay.
changed the night, would it impact the museum and how we had to organize? So it's all a moot point now. Sounds like.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is really that we have these times blocked off from the museum, so we wouldn't have to rearrange any museum schedule. Anyway, they have given it over for us on Thursday, the third Thursday night. Okay, Eric, did you want to say anything about that?
The only thing I wanted to point out as far as art and sip is we do now have a 4 to 6 p.m. slot for the art and sip. So it would be a quick turnaround to the meeting, but you could go to art and sip and then come right to the commission meeting.
And make sure you don't have too much sipping.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have
Make
a
it perfection.
So fast.
we have a motion on the table. So
Yes.
do you
So
want to?
after motion, don't I call for, is there any more discussion? Or do we go right to the vote?
We
We discussed, I guess.
Typically it's motion, discussion, second, vote. But we've motioned in second, so if there was
We
no
motioned
more-
in second. Okay, so everyone in favor of continuing to approve our third Thursday meeting time at the museum from 6 to 8. Please say aye or raise your hand.
Where did I go?
It appears to be unanimous.
Okay, great. Anyone opposed? Okay, anyone abstaining of commissioners? Okay, great. Thank you. All right.
Was that Danielle that seconded?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay. Next item is the maintenance reports. So, Angela.
Angela, you're on mute.
How about there? Now, hopefully you're seeing my slideshow from the beginning. Yes? Cindy Tiger, I can see you. Thumbs up. Okay. So, we had talked about in the past about doing some nuts and bolts things to breaking down the program into its individual parts and pieces for clarification. So because this is going to be on the docket soon, Laura and I discussed that this would be a good place to start. Just as a note, when I am in the share screen, I can't see everyone. So if you have a question throughout this, please just unmute yourself and say, I have a question. So here, of course, is our mission as it is listed presently, which is to provide and manage a diverse collection of public art and to promote art through education and outreach, which I think we do quite well, but I'm biased. So here we go, nuts and bolts of maintenance. As you all know, we have an annual ongoing operations maintenance budget, and we are keeping an eye on a number of pieces at any given time related to their deterioration, location changes, moves, etc., etc. Some of the things that are on the short list at present that we're working on is Emerge, which is the Main Street Bridge. Gather Enough People, of course, was disassembled and is in storage at present and is to be reinstalled. Nature's Way, we have a bid out and we need to look at those dollars. The altarpiece location conversation is going to start again. Bronze waxing is an annual bit. And of course, the Safety and Justice Mosaic. I don't know why I left it on there, but frankly, it really is still a project, of course, that we're responsible for. De-accessioned for you, Eve and Sage, last meeting. So we are going through that process. Projects that have been discussed because of the maintenance reports that you all do as commissioners are a number. In fact, the Take Me Out to the Ball Game at Sandstone Ranch has some surface damage and missing elements. There's pieces of the landmark mosaic at Stephen Day Park that need to be considered. A number of powder coating projects, which means deinstalling the work and taking them to be powder coated and then reinstalling them. That's not something that can happen on site. Left Hand's Compass is, of course, the fountain that has been defunct for some time. Of course, still a lovely sculpture, but the fountain piece of it is not functioning. And then the youth bike racks is something that has always been considered and talked about, handled a little bit differently in the past versus the present. Things that we know that are coming in the future is going to be the next reach of Resilient St. Vrain project going to the west. We know that the Listening Stone and we know Details of Nature will likely need to be deinstalled and moved because let's face it, the river moved and the Listening Stone's not next to the river anymore. So we know these things, but that doesn't diminish the fact that we still need to go and visit each of them to keep an eye on their current state of being and document that. And the way that, if you can imagine taking care of an object as a story in time, right? The way that the Mona Lisa is in the museum, even though she doesn't look like she's aging, she too is aging, even though she's got security guards and plastic around her. But our public art pieces are more vulnerable, being out in the wild, if you will. And so when we do our maintenance reports and when we do them in the winter and then again in the spring and then again in the summer, we're able to see that story of their age through time. And so you as a commissioner, one of the things that you have signed up to do is basically adopt an artwork, something, not just one. And in fact, like a half dozen is best because then we can cover the entire collection, but that you promise to go and visit on the regular. I think about once quarterly is at least best practice, but regularly, let's just say in quotation marks. And so what you're going to be doing over the next month is you're going to be looking at the collections map and the list. You're going to think about where you live and where you frequent, where you drive, how often you can and cannot do this. We don't want to sign up for things that we can't do. Some of you might be able to do more. Some of you might be able to do less. But then in the next meeting, we're going to go through the entire collection and we're going to divvy it up and break it down into everybody being responsible for probably, again, a half dozen. We don't want everybody going to Stephen Day Park. We don't want everybody going and looking at Dawson Silverwood because you walk around McIntosh Lake. We're going to break them up a little bit. So that's why if you will, over the next month, choose 10 pieces that you would be interested in considering. Eve, I see your hand. Just give me a second. That you would be interested in considering. And then when we go through that one-on-one kind of signing up, we'll divvy them out. Yeah, Eve, what you got?
Sorry, got to unmute. So you're going to tell me where to look for the collections map and list, and then would you share this document?
Yes, you are going to be receiving all of this. So
Thank
Laura
you.
is presently working on a Google map. This is because we are so far into the 21st century that actually works best for most, but not all. So we actually have the physical bike map that some can use and reference to. This is the bike map at present. Granted, it's a huge piece of paper. And so the digital image actually doesn't do it well, but a Google map will do most of us far better in the digital realm. But then of course there's also, this is the bike map, if you will. It's got a quadrant because the bike map is separated up into grids, and then each little quadrant has its own subsection. So G9, like bingo. A C4, right? So you'll know where to find object number 60, which is Longmont by Miguel Vasquez. There we go. I can't even read it. So this does exist on the interwebs, but the physical bike map isn't as helpful online as a digital version. So you're going to get access to both. And then if you need to get a physical bike map from me, I'll get it to you. So then in February, so before February, you're going to go through this list. You're going to decide on 10. We're going to go through the meeting. We're going to look through the list. Everybody's going to kind of be assigned their artworks. And I'll make sure that you have your short lists of what those ones are. And then you're going to regularly assess that assigned artwork. And you're going to complete a maintenance form. And now is when I have to flip my screens because I can't, I have to be advanced. Oh, no, I don't want to be advanced. Nope, you're just going to have to hold on a second. So online, there's a QR code we'll give you, which will send you to, the artwork assessment form. Laura, I can see you. Do you see what I'm seeing? Thumbs up?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, fantastic. So we will also have this printed for you. So if you are a paper person and you are just preferential to carry it around in your car or in your bike or in your backpack, and then when you have time to go buy that piece, you can fill it out in handwritten form and hand it over to us, completely fine. Or if you want to follow the QR code and do this in real time, that's completely fine. This is really a qualitative situation. Basically what Laura and I are looking for, and frankly Eileen too, when an artwork is in serious disrepair or there are some serious red flags when we read through these, which we do on the regular, if something is in such a deteriorated state or frankly dangerous that we need to address it right away. So everything is fairly simple, and we've put in metrics that should make it fairly easy for you to make an assessment. There's no such thing as perfection. Just getting over there and doing the assessment is the best thing. So you're going to put your name and first and last, you're going to put the email where I can contact you if I have a question immediately. And then you're going to stick the artwork title in it. If you are doing it online, everything is in there already alphabetical. If you're doing it handwritten, well, you just do your best of what you think that the name is and maybe stick the location. The date actually is really important because if it gets tagged today and then we clean it up and then it gets tagged 2 weeks from now, that date is going to be very helpful for us to understand, the surface deterioration and such. And then you're going to put the overall condition. And again, very much kind of an easy assessment. It's great because it's loved, but it's in great shape. It's good. It could use a look-see. It's fair. It needs attention, or it's poor. There's a dire situation happening, and Angela, you need to scoot yourself on over there. Stephanie just recently sent me a note about brick sculpture, and we have some loose bricks. And so if we can find those dire situations and address them immediately, it prevents future deterioration. And then there is an additional issue. If you are having this in a handwritten form, you could just say, there are loose bricks, or, there is a lot of bird poop. That is a regular one. You're going to be like, this one is so poopy, I can't even handle it. But I also, if you're in the digital world, I pre-populated it with some of the regular things that would scare me. Like foundation damage is really going to make me pretty nervous. Standing water is something that I'm definitely going to go and check out. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but filling something out if it looks unusual or not right is something we're going to go check out. And then the surface coating, that could mean the paint is chipping. That could also mean somebody egged it, right? So if it has a surface coating like a paint or a patina or something like that, yes, but it also, if it has egg or bird poopy on it, that too is a coating on the surface. And is the condition good or bad? If it's paint and it looks like it's chipping, well, then it's bad. If it's poopy, yep, poop's bad. So you don't have to think too hard about it, right? Potential hazards is certainly a big one that I'm going to be worried about. An example is the piece over at McIntosh Lake that had been bent for a really long time. And I asked the Parks Department if they could try themselves to bend it back without breaking it. But if it's something that's going to hurt somebody, that's a big one. And then noting your hazards here is helpful. If you think it's damaged and how much of the whole thing is damaged, the placard, does that exist? Yes or no? We just last year went through a complete audit. Thank you very much, Iris and Cindy. So we are aware of which ones do and do not have placards as of current state. So this is really helpful for us to know the changes in condition. And then any comments in an open field that you need to share with me, there's availability for that too. If you want the bonus points, the extra gold star, if you want to pull up the lat long of each of these, that's very helpful. We're trying to plug all of this into a GIS system, and the website for the city is going to be updated. And in an ideal world, we would have a digital map on our website that if you clicked on the little number, it would populate, obviously, the artwork itself, but it also would show you exactly where it is. But to do that, we have to gather all those lat longs. It's not a lot of work, but if we work together, it sure goes faster. And then the best part is there's a file upload. So if you take a bunch of pictures on your phone and you immediately want me to see them, you can connect them to this document. So again, just doing the work is the most helpful. If you can add it to the digital world, great. And if you can't, then doing the physical thing, giving it to Laura and myself, and then we'll upload it. So Eve, I see a question, and then others.
Sorry to be a pain.
No.
I just was wondering, some of the things that you talked about in your presentation document were that missing, the elements were missing. So is there a way, once we select which item, which we want to keep an eye on, is there some way that we would know? Because it's like, if I look at something, I won't know if it's missing, I don't know, it's shovel or whatever, some part. Do you know what I'm saying? Is there some place where I would have that information so I could do a better job of?
That's a really good point, that when we provide you with some of the printout information, we will also provide you with a digital and a physical copy of an image of all of the things you're talking about. That said, chances are 9 times out of 10, I bet I can read Cindy's mind right now, that it's like a mosaic of Nature's Way, that there's little mosaic pieces that are laying on the side. Or Stephanie, I literally picked the brick up. I was like, this is not connected anymore. Like, that's an element. Was that it, Cindy? Missing tiles?
No. I was going to say, don't we still have the artwork archive?
We
that
do.
We can link to? And those pictures are, generally speaking, from when they were first installed. So if you're missing a piece, you can tell.
That's true. So when the new web page comes about, the question of whether to keep or get rid of artwork archive is certainly a part of it, because it's an added expense. There is the Art Across Longmont that is hooked to our website.
That is the
Artwork Across Longmont. There it is.
Across Longmont is up to date.
Exactly. So if this is at this juncture, this is your best link to find the entire collection and images of them as they should be in their natural state. That said, like things like Alphabet Farm have more than one component, right? And this is only one image. So we'll provide you with both a link to this so you can have this reference, and also we'll do the work on making sure that you have a paper copy of the pieces that you are responsible for and those images. Does that make sense?
Great, thank you.
Yeah. other questions about maintenance? Okay, so so what you're going to get in the next bit of time will be these assets, will be these questions. I'm sorry, I'm not sharing too though. So you're going to be getting the list, you're going to be getting a digital map. You are going to be getting a link to the maintenance form, and you're going to be choosing the, 6 to 10 pieces that you want to commit to sign up for. And then in February, we're going to sign up for all of them. And then we will compile packets, I suppose, for everyone. Is there any other questions related to that?
Just a comment or two.
Please.
This is really fun and one of the basic things of our activities and super important for the community, obviously. I would suggest that everyone save the link to the form in their bookmarks, which makes it real easy to go right to the form. And also, I think somewhere or another I read, every time you visit these things, even if it's like only a week later, it's a good idea to file a form. So if you happen to find yourself in a park with another piece, even if it's not one you signed up for, it's really a good idea to just, quick go through and file a report on whatever you see there in the park. Also, I'd suggest as you're picking out your ones that you want to adopt for the year, that you choose some in your neighborhood that are easy, and then some in some newer neighborhoods or someplace not exactly close to you, so that, because it allows us to see more stuff. I found it to be rich to have. I mean, I definitely keep an eye on the ones in our neighborhood, but I also like the ones on the other side of town that I adopted.
I have a question for everyone, considering that. So sometimes people like to just be told what to do. Do people want to choose which pieces they want to go visit, or would they rather me kind of just kind of find like an area and then assign people like just based on the area? I think that's a no.
Danielle,
hold on.
Did you have-
Pamela speaking. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Okay, Pamela, I can hear you. What's the question or comment?
Okay, you're muted, Pamela.
It
Oh,
was
she's
Pamela says that if folks were assigned things, it would be more structured.
Yeah,
And
which sometimes like having people just, okay, here's your thing, go do it, is better than you having a choice and then we have to like redo it. So it's less work for me. Yes, play devil's advocate. Yes.
Devil's advocate, because I always do, right? The end goal is to accomplish the quarterly and regular visitation. So either way, if some of you want assigned and some of you want to choose, fine by me, as long as the end goal is visitation. So however you go about that. And then I see Sage's hand and Stephanie's hand.
Yeah, I was kind of speaking to that, thinking about like, what if we all pick the same one, and what if we like came with our short list of like, here's what we kind of want, but then if everybody has the same ones, like it could still be assigned, but maybe we could still present like, here's where I live. Like I live on the north end of town, and so it would be, easier to do things there, but I also see the value in going elsewhere. But I think like I see the value in maybe stating preference and then taking that into account when assigning. Maybe that could be like a middle ground.
I was going to say it'd be nice for those of us who've been on to keep the ones that we have because we've been following them, right?
Okay.
So like the brick structure, I recognized that last fall and I said, oh my gosh, we've got this problem, right? But had I just come on, I wouldn't have known that that was new damage. So, I think there's a benefit to that.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to see if people like to be bossed around or not. So,
so
but
ultimately,
you always, Laura, you boss us as much as you want.
Danielle, did you want to say something? Okay, all right.
No,
Eve.
I'm good. I pretty much was gonna say kind of where Sage was at is I think that those that might want it done, because I feel like last year we definitely neglected this, at least I did. I don't know if I can speak for everybody or not, but I was not the best last year as I was the year prior. And I recognize that. But for me too, also not to put my normal life in the middle of it, but I already started kind of writing my list, and it's like I'm choosing different things than I chose last year potentially, but some of them the same. So I kind of know where I go and what's convenient on my day to day. So I just think that's
Right.
something to consider for everybody is like, we all know, and I just think that more work is going to actually get looked at. And I think also if we all know where we're actually at, I think this going about it the way we're going about it right now is a lot better than last year already. I think just having this conversation as a whole and then coming back together to kind of figure out what we're missing will be beneficial. And then at that rate, maybe Laura could throw those onto some people's plates.
I mean,
That's a good
I will
idea.
try as best I can to give everybody their preference. But if there is some overlap, I'm going to try and group things together so that it's not like, oh, well, I'm going to go to the southwest corner and then all of a sudden to the northeast corner. Like, that's too much. I obviously don't want to make things a pain in the butt for anybody, but sometimes, things need to be seen and they're just not near anything else. So.
Absolutely.
So the way that it was done last year, I think, with the exception of Cindy pointed out something that was very valid, which was things that we're still working on still need to be on the list of things viewed, but it happened fairly organically last year. So I would say, let's just take these comments. Everybody do make your list if you want to. And then when we're in the situation, if we need to assign, we can do it in situ rather than spending extra work doing quadrants of where people may or may not go. So if you want to be assigned, don't come with a list, you'll be assigned. If you do very much want to consider it based on your lifestyle and where you think that you'll commit to going, bring your list and we'll revisit it next month. It worked fairly well, Laura, last February. We did end up assigning because I made the joke of don't everybody sign up for Dawson Silverwood, and then nobody signed up for Dawson Silverwood. So go for it, folks. Yeah, Dawson Silverwood, if you're a McIntosh Lake person. Anyway, so yeah, does that sound like a fair plan? I think we can find middle ground. It'll be fairly easy. Okay, super.
Yeah, I think we're getting better at this every year. I thought last year was really, I think everyone did their maintenance reports. Well, anyway, I thought it was easier for me, and I like the way we're discussing it this year too.
I signed up for way too many last year and ended up not doing any. I'm bad. I should be in timeout. But I'm going to definitely only sign up for a few this year that there's some hope that I could like take a weekend and just in one Saturday go and visit all 4 or 5, get it done.
Yeah, I do think that's a good point, Cindy, that I think I had like 6 total or something like that. And that's a reasonable number.
I had 12 last year. It was too many.
So I don't know. I mean, I know that we have more stuff all the time and we have, and there's, well, there should be enough for us all to have 5 or 6. Okay. Okay, good deal. Thank you so much, Angela and Laura for your work on this. Okay. Okay, so next item is updates and reports on our activity. The first one is the famous Longmont Lights Parade, which I do have a lot of fun at, I must say. And that was attended by me, Stephanie, and Nettie. So let's see. Nettie, would you like to say a few words about the parade and what we did this year?
Oh, excuse me.
No, now you're muted again. Okay.
Okay, there we go. All right. For some reason it seemed easier this year. Although we still couldn't, it was still before it was dark and the people didn't know, some people, most didn't know they should have their lights on and be able to perform or play the music that they were going to be during the parade. But it did seem easier to me this year over the prior year. And it was a lot of fun. It was really fun. I really enjoyed that event. And I can't tell you how many people tell me that, oh, I saw the parade. It was wonderful. So anybody who's interested in doing it this next year, I'd encourage you to do it.
Yeah.
Would it help if we had a big sign put up somewhere that says float judging from 3 to 4 or whenever it is? That as the floats come in, that if people could see that sign, they would know there was going to be judging going on. Would that help at all?
Probably.
It was easy. It was better this year. The people that wanted to be evaluated for judging, they were told to line up in a certain area, so we didn't have to walk nearly as far, and we could get a good idea of the ones that were in contention, without going all the way across town. And it was, and they were ready, and we also were far more ready with our criteria, with our categories. So since we had done it the year before, we kind of knew better what we were looking for. It just all went much easier. It's still kind of it's a thing. It's cold out there and, it's getting dark, but the parade is so fun and people love it so much. So I felt like it was as easy as it possibly could be this year. Stephanie?
Yeah, no, I think it was so much easier having it organized by the candidates that were in for judging versus the people who didn't want to be judged in a different portion of the lineup. It made it really easy for us to travel up and down the road. They were on both sides of the road, so we just kind of went boop and then back down. And there were a few people who were late, who we kept walking and we got everybody judged, but it was great. It was really great. And it was like the year before, it was murder because we could not find the participants. We walked so long, and people were like driving up and down the street. So it was a little bit, just chaos, and we had less time. So this time we were much more organized, and it was great. So kudos to Angela for talking with her counterpart and for them accepting our, suggestions. And the only suggestion I would make for next year that I would do differently is our voting sheet. It had the headers across the top, but when you flip to the second, third, fourth page, it didn't have the headers. And so we get the headers on all the pages in the future. That would be an improvement, because I kept having to go, what is this column? And flip back and forth. But Baron, that doesn't sound like a hard thing to do. But when you're in freezing temperatures and you're wearing gloves and you're all bundled up like a marshmallow, it is actually kind of hard to do, and hang on to everything in your pen also while you're walking with no clipboard. So next year, I will definitely bring a clipboard or something so that I have something to write on. Yeah, but it was great. It was awesome, fun thing to do. I'm glad we did it.
It's really fun. It is fun. To me, the best improvement, the thing that made it the easier was that we discussed the different categories before we went out, and we kind of got in mind what we were going to look for, because we have like a music category, we have a heritage category, we have all these different categories. And last year when we did it, we didn't even know what we were looking for, and we just kind of ended up running out there and handing out the prizes. But anyway, it is really fun, and I encourage you to come next year, and also friends and family are welcome. Okay. We'd like to hear a report on the traffic boxes, please, from Cindy, Danielle, and Pamela.
Well, we've identified 6 boxes around town that I believe traffic has approved of us using. And we're about to narrow down the pictures we want on them. All 3 of us submitted the pictures we like best from the mock-ups, and I was thrilled to see that we didn't all pick the same ones. that there's a lot of variety, that some of us liked some other and others liked others, and that's good. And I'm hoping we can narrow down the 6 finalists soonish. I don't know what the
Yeah, so we have
timeline
some
for that is.
we have some internal review happening, and I think there's just one image that is probably getting the kibosh. I can share some of the mock-ups if
They're really cool, guys. Okay, nobody wants to see them but me.
No, I'm excited to see them.
Angela, you're
Oh.
muted.
Angela, you're muted.
there. I can't
Okay.
find the button. Button, who's got the button? Sorry. Okay. There, and now how do I move you over? Can you see the girl with the in the stand?
Yes, love it.
So I don't know if I can switch images.
The purple sections are the wide sections that mostly face the street, and the blue sections would be the ones on the sides. Okay, so that's what you're looking at, facing the street and on the sides and on the back, or if you're walking up to it, you could probably see the ones on the back better. Do you know what I mean?
Are you looking at the railroad now? Hopefully.
Yes.
Okay, good. So that is working. It's just taking it a while for it to, so like this is an example of a great image, but splitting it into 4s actually isn't very successful, because of the nature of the proportion. So if we did something like this, we would probably just do it in 2. The traffic folks are super excited about, you know, the history, the historical aspect of Longmont through time. Let's see. There's one that kind of breaks down Johnson's Corner. But as you can tell in some of these images, that center image, that big image, doesn't actually reflect terribly well the entire image itself. So that's what the task force is really challenged with, is while the whole image is very exciting, the breaks are not so much on all of them. There's a good one. I can't see any of you, so if anybody has any questions, just.
Oh, I was gonna say that, Angela, I had a question that the Johnson's Corner, could you go back to that one?
Yes.
That
There's
is
that
so,
one.
it is so cool, but I can definitely see how there's only 2 in there that you could really tell at all what's going on. The sliver of the car would just look like a random car by itself. So
Right.
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 So I can see exactly what you mean, you know. How cool though.
I think they're fine. I mean, I think we would get used to it, or people would they would kind of grow on people like, okay, now this is a different, you know, this wraps around. I think they're fine.
We have
There's
so many
It's gonna be
photographs though
learning.
too that like I mean, yes, it's a cool photo, but we have so much more. So I think proportion and composition are our friends in this way, unfortunately.
Well, chances are when you see something, you're probably going to be seeing 2 sides of it. I mean, you're not, you know, you may briefly see just the one side, but as you're moving, you're going to get the idea, oh, this is one continuous thing and connect it. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. These are
so
really
there.
fun.
What year is
really
that?
great.
What year
Yeah.
is that? Is that labeled with a year?
1980.
That's 1980? Oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that
not.
looks
It's at
pretty
Roosevelt Park.
contemporary.
The tents look older than 1980, but the clothing looks 1980-ish.
This is 1980 for sure.
Yeah.
I
Now
guess
don't
to
have
that
the spreadsheet.
to that point, like, will there be any kind of context on these images, like for the public to know what year is this? Where in Longmont is this? Is that going to
Yes,
be included? Yeah.
the goal is either we take a corner out and apply you know, all of the, you can find this image at the Longmont Museum archives, or a QR code which sends people to a digital version, or both.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. This is the one that is being probably kiboshed.
Oh, come on.
I
Just
know,
kidding.
I'm sorry, Danielle. Yeah, so
It's
without his
goofy.
leg, he's kind of out of context is kind of weird.
Could we do this one as maybe just 2 sides and double it? You know what I mean? Just put like the 3rd and 4th and then the 3rd and 4th again, you know, like you were saying? Could we do
We could
maybe
remock it up with just the pool and not with our friend, the dad, or who's overlooking. Oops,
Veto
I'm missing-
man.
Hold on, Pamela has to say, yeah, Pamela. She says cut him out. Everything else is fine. So obviously this is sunset pool, right? So there you go, right? This is the context image. So the green is the like short side, and then the purple is the typically ends up being the main front, like Laura had said. So yeah, so you should be seeing these very shortly at a traffic intersection near you.
Okay, love it. Thank you all. Thank you all for looking through these fabo photographs. I think this is going to be super fun. And I bet we're going to get a lot of positive feedback on these. Okay. Okay, any other discussion on the traffic boxes?
One quick question. This is Melanie.
Yes,
Just out of
ma'am.
curiosity, are the pictures going in the location that they were taken, like around Longmont, or are they kind of just scattered throughout? Does that
I
make
think they're
sense?
going to be
we
mostly
were
on
thinking
Main, right?
I think we're thinking scattered throughout.
Mm.
You know, just to let people see the other side of town or whatever, but
I think overall too, it'd be pretty difficult to try to place all of those because there's just so many pictures, and as this project goes, I think there might be duplicates of a lot of locations as well, which is something that is kind of out there. But just like even Roosevelt Park, for instance, there's been so many awesome pictures that have showed up about around the Roosevelt Park area, just because that area has been utilized for so many things over the years through Longmont's history. So most likely it'll probably, in my opinion, I think it'll end up getting just scattered as well.
Thank you.
Pamela says, it also depends completely on where traffic tells us we can and cannot put photographs, because some places along the highway, we're not allowed to put it, especially like human scale figure. We don't want to confuse traffic. So we're limited on the number of boxes that we can utilize. You've got it. Okay.
Okay, next item. Art on the Move coming up soon here. Angela.
Art on the Move, the call for entry is open. We have had a number of folks starting to apply, which is great. I've reached out to LDDA about if they want to contribute, because of course, as you'll recall, we are limited on the number that we can do every year of temporary artwork. We can do sculpture only this year. Safety and Justice obviously is going to be under construction. And the museum has other intentions for the wall. So we're going to be doing all sculpture. So 7 pieces. St. Stephen's has 5 plinths. 4th Avenue now has 6 plinths. We have Breezeways, we have Kensington, and we have the Waste Recycle Center. This year, we're going to do something a little bit different because we're moving into that digital world of previewing and judging work online. So each of you is going to receive your login information related to seeing things online in advance. That was some of the commentary that came out of last year, was just trying to make that decision in one night, and seeing it for the first time was really hard. So I think the judging that we'll do for this is just going to be a yes, no, or maybe. And so then the hope is that some of those things that fall down very much to the no, that's not what we're interested in, there's a stronger number of these things. We'll review them, but it'll get us to a short list quicker. I can't see everybody, so if you have comments in this, please just speak up. I have identified both from the crane operators and the artists that are going to need machinery, that April 24th and 25th is going to be our installation date. Weather permitting, of course, we can't sling artwork if there's weather, but for all intents and purposes, those are the dates that we will be doing. And then, as you recall, especially with Ursa Major, who is still hibernating on Maine, every year you have, of course, the opportunity to potentially buy any of these artworks. They are all for sale. So we're not going to make any decisions tonight, but if there's something that you really love that is on display right now, and you are interested and have a place in mind for said artwork, if you can just contact me in advance. So I will have all of the prices, and we'll talk about location, making sure that the base fits on your available plinths, and go about it that way. I did add Jade Wendell's Protector here, the Colorado marble piece, because that did come up at the end of last year, but he had already committed it elsewhere. So we'll just want to make sure that we have this conversation with artists before they commit artwork elsewhere.
Angela, can
yeah.
you hear me? So Jade's piece, then, are you saying that it's now like rolling out of that commitment rotation and will be available for sale, or?
I promised that I would ask him.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
Yep. It may be on a 1-year commitment. It may be a 2-year commitment. I'm sure it's in South Dakota though.
Okay.
He was very excited that it might end up in Longmont. So I think it's available to us. I don't know exactly. We just don't know exactly when.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Is that the owl, the carved owl?
It's this Colorado marble. I'm gonna say the word totem because it.
Oh, it's this one.
This one on the right.
The marble totem pole thing.
We have there.
Yeah. We do have those 2 new fire stations. You know, there's a number of available places. And it's called Protector. So I will send you all the information about it and those costs. So what the problem that we ran into with Ursa Major was that was right when I was coming on board. And so it had been purchased, but we didn't have a location for it. And it's heavy, it's cumbersome. So we really want to make, you know, those decisions in line with moving artwork to be efficient. Yeah.
Where is this toad?
He's at the museum.
He's right outside the museum.
Okay.
And they love him.
Yeah. I love him.
So cool. I just want to get on him every time I walk past.
Yeah,
it is a marvelous, marvelous piece. It's called Ribbit Rodeo.
That's awesome. Love that.
Pamela loves it too.
I also like the processing, the robot that's in front of the art center right now, Firehouse Art Center. That one is Fabo also.
He's very noticeable when you walk down the street. He's a big statement for sure.
Yeah. I think that's a good one for people taking pictures in front of, as well as kind of being lending itself to being a landmark in Longmont.
Yes, and is durable.
He's right now at kind of an awkward place.
Say one more time.
Because he's a little bit too close to the road. If we were to purchase him, I'd want to put him someplace else.
Pamela is also fond of Mr. Robot.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Susan.
I've talked to some merchants along 4th Avenue there about, I'm calling him the Thinker Robot.
Yep.
They just adore him. The ones I've talked to now, that it's not totally 100% everybody, but they loved him, and they loved right where he was. And I didn't know if we do a purchase of something that's already on a plinth right there, because that plinth is for Art on the Move, do we have to move the artwork?
Nope. You can put art wherever you want. Okay. I mean, within reason and logic and all the things.
Not at my house.
Right.
Oh, I'll take any of it. But yeah, no, just from the merchants around there that I had talked to, and they were so excited at the thought that it might continue to stay there. They really, really loved it. So
He'd be great in a park too.
yeah, he would. I mean, so many places he would be good. I think their reasoning was, well, one, they loved the artwork, but two, it drew so many people to it, and then it drew people to the sidewalk and to a store.
Yeah.
Nice. It's very nice.
So I will send you prices and names of pieces of artwork. And again, if you just think of you know, what you would like to see, where you would like to see it, and then we'll come back in February with recommendations. Yeah, that would be great.
Yes.
Angela, another question for you.
Yeah.
So let's say the robot, Think a Robot, would there be a possibility, like if we wanted to have like a triptych of robots or something like that, would that be, you know, a possibility to do that so that we could have, you know, if people really like him, but we only have one of them?
Yes, of course you can commission artwork, additional artwork. I'm always wary of precedent, right? Because, you know, when there's the best practice of kind of the way that we commission artwork, which tends to be RFQ process. But yeah, I don't know exactly how to answer that right now, but the answer is yes. It would just be how we're doing it and why we're doing it and where we're doing it.
Okay.
So just on the subject of art on the move, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to discuss this later too, but this was our first year of having the plinths on 4th Street, which I think is great to have the art location on 4th Street, but obviously we put something there that didn't work too well with the spring storms. And some of them can be seen better than others. And we're looking at least another year of construction on Kaufman and that kind of stuff too. So just a little consideration about where we're going to put things. I have no answers for it. I just think we need to, you know, learn from what we did this year.
And also, I mean, there's always the consideration of the bases. Some things fit, some things don't. Some things need to be bolted to the ground. Some things need a plate to be welded. So sometimes the answer is just a base, no pun intended, right? Is based on the base.
Right. It's all about the base.
It's all about the base.
It's all about the base.
I'm not gonna
Okay.
say.
Any other discussion on art on the move or questions or comments? Okay. Art on the move is one of our real fun things. And for our new commissioners, and it seems like a couple of years ago we did this, like looking over the slides and then coming to the short list faster, right? Didn't we we did it a couple of years ago. So I think that was I kind of like that process too.
And it will be March. I forgot to say the March meeting is the selection. So don't miss that one.
Yeah, don't miss that. And it's on your calendar, which is the regular meeting on March 21st. On the very bottom of our calendar, things on save the date. That's our art on the move selection time. So that's not to be missed. Okay. The events at City Council chambers coming up on Saturday. Do you want to do this, Angela, or you want me to just go over this? Okay, so on Saturday, the city clerk's office and the city council are sponsoring an orientation for new commissioners and those interested in refreshing their knowledge. And that's going to be for people on commissions at 9 a.m. refreshments, 9:30 to 11 will be new commissioner orientation. And then from 11 to 12:30 will be people who are interested in holding offices like chair, vice chair, whatever, of commissions. That'll be chair training from 11 to 12:30. And you'll get to meet, I haven't gone to this in person, but it is really useful to go to, I think, which is you get to meet the public information office, the city attorney, the city clerk. You get to meet these high up mucky mucks and find out about what they expect from us and feel more part of the city. And also there is a video of this presentation or the content. Is it available already?
Yeah, it's a couple of years old, but I can send it to anybody who is
Okay, so if
interested in
anybody cannot go and would like to review this, it's really good to get to know these people and see what they expect from us. The main thing I remember from this presentation was, do not talk to any of the press yourself, refer this to the public information office. So if anything were to happen, like someone were to come up to you that was from the media at any art event or when you're out visiting, doing maintenance reports or anything like that, the main thing is just we cannot speak for the city. It has to be referred to the public information officer. That's the only thing I remember. I'm sure there were some other important things too. Okay. Also, another thing coming up on our calendars is the selection panel orientations, which is going to be 2 choices of dates. Thursday, January 25th in the evening, or Saturday, February 24th, 10 a.m. to noon. These are the selection panels are how we choose a new commissioned artwork. And generally speaking, it's not just us on these selection panels. So the public and other interested people and people with a stake in the matter, there's different people other than just us on the selection panels. So it's good to know how it goes and get the idea. And certainly anytime there's a selection panel going on, we're welcome to attend as observers if we personally as commission members are not on that selection panel. Usually it seems like to me, tell me if I'm getting anything wrong. It seems to me there's like 2 or 3 of us and then 2 or 3 of public at large or stakeholders also on the selection panel. And this takes this goes through a process of a couple of meetings, looking at artist qualifications and their slides of completed work, and then seeing the interviews with the artists that are chosen on the short list. So that's generally how it goes. But it's a very, very, very interesting process and really useful to participate in. And generally speaking, over the term of your service on the commission, you'll be on at least one of these. And if you're not on it, then you'll be doing some other thing like serving food or setting up chairs or timekeeping or something like that. So there's always plenty of this is fun also, I think. Okay, Angela, anything else?
No, just you'll all get a really nice helping of what this is going to look like for selection panelists going forward, because you'll see during Art on the Move, that'll give you an active opportunity to see this in action. But really, we need at least one of you to commit to each of these dates to serve as taking notes and minutes, because one of the other things you'll learn in the city clerk's meeting, or if I have not said it enough, is open meetings and the sunshine law, right? All of these are open and available to the public. So that means we have to have an agenda and we have to have meeting notes. So if you are going to be in attendance of those, one or the other, they're going to be as similar as possible. Just let me know. And if you're willing to take the notes, that would be great. So a week from today is the first one, and then again in February.
Okay, so do we need to volunteer right now or just let you know?
Just let me know. And
Okay.
Sage, I saw a hand.
Yes, I just wanted to ask if those orientations, whichever one we pick, is that a requirement to attend those, or is it like an optional kind of enrichment thing?
Totally optional. Because once you are assigned to your project and that the selection panel you're learning or going to be serving on, which we have a number of them coming up, and you'll be assigned or volunteer for those, then there'll be project meetings as well. This is really going to be an orientation to give you an idea of expectations and the programs that you'll be using. And then the bigger thing, honing in on your available schedule. So we have a selection panel that all have similar available dates, because to serve on a selection panel, you have to come to all of those meetings to have a vote, basically.
Are these selection panel orientations at the museum?
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't put a location. At the museum in Kaiser City.
Generally speaking, most of these things are at the museum.
Yes.
Which is the good news, because it's a nice location.
Yeah. With the
Okay.
exception of when we try and meet the public where they are. But for these where people are coming from everywhere, the museum ends up being our central location.
Right, and we have a good setup too with the media and, you know,
I just was-
relatively comfortable chairs.
I was just momentarily confused with the one at the city council chambers.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right, next item. Anything else on selection panels? Any other questions or comments on selection panel? Okay, good deal. All right, Laura, give us some social media info, please.
So we've had the Instagram for now about 3 months. We have 98 followers, which is awesome. I have found that we have been getting a lot of good feedback from the public, just because I've been very consistent in posting. So, you know, if I share an image of a piece in our collection, or I have also been highlighting some of the photographs that we were kind of floating around for the traffic box images. People are commenting, they're sharing. It's just been really wonderful to see the level of interaction that we've gotten via social media for our program. One of the things that I really think has been successful is I have done 3 commissioner spotlights, which was Jennifer, Melanie, and we had I think it was Nettie. No, it was Laurel. Laurel was my first one. So I would really like it. I've been trying to do 1 a month. I would really like it if you guys would, I'm going to resend out that questionnaire again, but I feel like putting a face to our program is really important for the community to see. And so I really like, you know, sharing your experiences, but also like, you know, that we are just part of this community doing this thing that is just really cool. So yeah, I'm going to share that again. Does anybody have any comments that they would like to share with me about social media that they have seen? No.
You've been doing a great job.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's been cool to see that pop up for sure.
I was going to say, Laura, I haven't seen the social media post myself, but because I'm not on Instagram.
Are you on Facebook?
No.
Okay, then yeah, you would not have seen it.
I wouldn't see them. Yeah. But I have talked to a lot of people who said they really valued them and they love them. So
okay, great. Yeah. And that's the thing is I really I think that it's really important for us to educate the community about what we're doing. And by doing it with, you know, videos and photographs and like little bits about our history, it's just been really awesome. And I will also personally say that, you know, since moving to Longmont, I love Longmont, but now that I've been involved with this program, the history that's been like intertwined with art in public places, like I know more things about the city than some of the people that have been working here for 15 years because there's so much history in a lot of the pieces that we have. So it's just really cool to share that knowledge. And yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's definitely gotten a lot easier for me. But yeah, I'm glad that everybody has had generally positive feedback for me.
when we were out, I think it was when we were painting the underpass at 9th and Alpine. People made comments about, you know, seeing stuff there. And definitely when we were out on like for art walk this summer, I heard comments as well. So yeah, and some of my friends even at book club were like, oh, we love all that, you know. So obviously people are seeing it. I think you'll get more and more recognition and engagement as time goes on because it's so new still.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool.
I have a
Okay,
question.
thank you so much, Laura.
yes,
I think we're all just thrilled.
Oh, thanks.
All right, Melanie, do you want to talk, honey?
Yeah, I just have one question or maybe comment. I know you might be sort of restricted in what you can and cannot do, but it also could be really cool to promote our meetings on the social media page to invite the public in, or maybe make Facebook events. I know they generally pop up if you're in the location. So that could also help to maybe reach more people if they're interested in joining in our public meetings.
Definitely those artwork selection ones. I think that looking around the table right now, a number of you have been or participated in a selection panel and then decided to serve on the board. So having that introduction to public art as kind of a base layer before you become a commissioner is also really helpful. So yeah, we'll absolutely include those. And based on Laura's work, I don't know if you all noticed that suddenly our friends in the media were like, oh, the museum has archives of historic photos. And so all of a sudden they were all copying what Laura was doing. And I'm going to say it, they did. They copied what she was doing, and all of these historic photos started popping up everywhere. And we've had 2 Longmont Leader articles, one about the Growing Water Smart project, which was huge. And then of course about the traffic boxes in the last month. So we're definitely getting noticed because of the work that Laura is doing.
Yeah,
so
they're paying attention, which is really like strange to see. Because I was like, oh, my little posts are doing what? But I think that again, like we have everybody who lives in Longmont has a lot of pride, and so giving people more content that's like wholesome, but also like feel good. It's really nice to see everybody reacting in such a positive light, and also having people be like, oh, hey, you're doing a thing. I want to tell people about it. Like, it's just really cool that we have this tool to tell people about what's happening in their community. And, art is like one of my big passions. And I just love to see that people can interact with art and not even necessarily feel like they know art well. So yeah, it's just been really rewarding.
I think it's an excellent idea to promote the selection panel orientations on the Instagram and see if we can't get a lot of people more involved there. That would be terrific.
Yeah, this has opened up a whole new area for AIPP, which is because we couldn't even really, well, it's only been since Laura's been here that we had permission from the city to have an Instagram account, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really been a big game changer for us and continues to evolve. So I think we're all really thrilled. Thank you, Laura.
Laura had to do a lot of legwork to prove to our friends in the communications department that we're responsible enough adults to have an Instagram account. And I love you, City of Longmont comms team, but geez, guys. So thanks, Laura.
I had to pre-populate 3 months worth of content in order to get an Instagram. Yeah, it was hard. I was like, I don't even know what to talk about anymore. But honestly, like, because I did that, I was like, oh, I have these other ideas for things that, you kind of get to know a little bit more about how to program a content, which social media is such a weird beast. So yeah, I've learned a lot. I'm glad that it's a thing, but yeah, it took a long time to get there.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of writing master's thesis. It's like a huge, huge project that you keep, but once you get it done, then it kind of lives on its own and gives you more ideas. So, okay, good deal. Okay, let's hear about our interns for this year from Angela.
All right, I'm going to scream through the fact that we have 2 visitor services people who are helping continue some of the digitization projects that we've been doing. So we've been lucky to have their service. 2 of them for 20 hours a week for 2.5 weeks. So hey, that's amazing that we can keep them employed, engaged at the museum, but for some time when there's been slow turnover in the galleries and while we were closed, that they have work to do. So each of them have been fantastic and lovely. And then our new CU undergrad intern started today. Her name is Brooke. It became apparent very quickly that the project that we have for her is not going to be enough hours. So she too is going to be joining our maintenance reports. And I think I'm going to stick her on some of the GIS work as well. So you will be seeing them here. You'll be seeing Brooke rather here in the meetings relatively soon. I'm just going to keep going if okay with you. That maintenance we've already talked about.
Okay.
And new business is quick. So you, Laura, on shock art.
So as you all may know, I'm going to be taking over shock art this year. I'm going to be doing everything except for contracts. So it's my thing. So there have been a lot of things that I've been bouncing off Angela, but I wanted to assign a task force for this year so that I have people that I can send, you know, ideas to, I can bounce things off of. So I would like to see who would like to be on the shock art task force this year.
I would like to be.
Pamela.
What kind of dates are we looking at for the
Angela? Oh,
for this
Oh,
year?
yeah.
hold on, I'm also taking notes.
Okay, so I think that was Sage, Eve, and Pamela, right?
Well,
And
Jenny and
Pamela,
Iris.
Iris, Eve, Sage.
I had my hand up too, but.
Yeah, I got Iris.
Okay, yes, I got you. Okay, Iris.
Okay.
Mine's like a
So-
tentative hand up, would like more information about what it entails, but I've yeah, as a shock art artist, I would love to be involved on the task force on the back end.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that would be wonderful to have you on the task force. Okay, and Pamela.
Yeah, so basically this year we are opening up applications from May 1st through May 31st. And then we will have the boxes on display at the Old Town Market from June 8th through July. July 3rd, no. June 8th through June 22nd, and then we're gonna move them over after that to the museum until I think we decided July 13th, so it's the weekend after, well, July 4th is a Thursday, it'll be the Saturday after, not the Saturday right after, but the Saturday after that one. So second Saturday in July, so that we can wrap up voting and then decide on the winners before the end of July, and then do training early August, and then have the artists done with their boxes by November 15th. Because this year we had the cutoff on November 30th, but we just had, I think the weather was just too bad those last few weeks. So I think that moving it up just a hair. But basically as a task force member, you're going to be helping me with events. We're going to be doing voting events. You're going to be helping me count votes. You're going to be helping me just make decisions. Because this year, I have feelings about online voting that I would like to have people on the commission to tell me what they think. So basically just giving your time, but also your opinions and also your blood effort, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's just like an extra little commitment.
That's called sweat equity.
Sweat equity. That's what I meant to say. Yes.
Iris, you'll have to unmute.
Sorry. Hey, are you talking that you need some help from May through November? Is that
No.
the
That's just
What-
the timeline. I'm sorry. I gave you the whole timeline. I'm gonna really need a lot of help for voting specifically, and then also just making decisions leading up to when we open. Just basically bodies to be there for, I mean, ideally when we open, we're gonna be having we're gonna be open the first or second Saturday. So I would like people / commissioners to be there to greet people and say, hey, come on in. You know the shock art program? Like, come vote for your favorites. And then after which we will then convene and tally up votes and then make a decision and then present it to the whole commission. So that's kind of your
You're
role.
saying
as a
June and
task force.
July. June and July next year mostly.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. June and July.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm so on board. Yes,
Cool.
sign me up.
Yeah, and Sage, you're not like eligible for this year. You just still have to finish your box. So you're
Totally.
not even in that playing field. So I think it'd be nice for you to see the back end of what happens because of the
Absolutely.
way that you've done the front end. Now you get the backside.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely have opinions about images, so I would love that. That sounds great.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
And we still get to come down and help set up and do other stuff if we're not on the task force, right? I like it. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to be able to lean on those people so that I can, I
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just keep us posted on when you're having people do stuff, because
Okay,
I would like to.
perfect.
And I just want to note again, with more than 2 people on a task force, that does become an open meeting. So a part of your responsibilities will be having that meeting open to the public, having an agenda, taking notes. And
Okay.
also the location determination, Cindy, we usually meet with Kevin or get his list about this time of year, and then you'll drive around and decide on which boxes you would like to. Then we have to send them back to the traffic people. They have to bless the short list before you can make so there's some legwork before the shock art program actually gets underway. And with a task force as large as that, you should be able to divide and conquer fairly well. So if you weren't available for all of June, but could do some in July, task force members can be able to do that, if that makes sense.
Okay, we will revisit it and talk more about it in coming months, of course. Okay, the Altarpiece Task Force.
So we have the altarpiece that's in storage since the library is not going to be moving buildings. We had told them that, based on the vote and what happened, that we would like to sit down and chat about that work going there. So Miss Susan Horowitz was the remaining task force member on that, but having at least one more person to sit on that meeting would be very helpful.
I'll do that.
Pamela, yeah. Hold on. I'm good.
And I can, and I can also. Or if you just want 2 people.
The altarpiece was purchased from the firehouse in 2019. It was utilized for the Day of the Dead exhibition and never had a home when it was purchased. And then it's a pretty impactful piece. But the library, under its old direction, had some trepidation about possibly putting it up and where to put it up. So it's been in storage for some amount of time. And so we need to talk about where it's I say permanent, nothing's ever really permanent, but permanent location will be. So Susan had brought up at the November meeting about putting this back on the docket. And so I just need a group of people to go and sit with library staff and have the conversation. And of course, yep.
Okay.
Are we committed to putting it in the library?
Cindy says, are we committed to put it in the library? The answer is no. But we have very limited indoor locations that are very public, and this piece is quite large.
Yeah.
I thought, Jennifer, you were on the task force and from before.
It's possible.
Oh, maybe.
Well, maybe.
No, I think you and I are on the van wrap task force.
You are.
Oh,
yes,
the van wrap. Okay, my apologies.
Susan,
but I will
and
do the
Jennifer
library
both
one
on the
too.
van wrap.
Okay.
I will do the.
Sorry, guys, this is hard.
So I'll do the library with Susan also.
Okay, so Jennifer and Susan are on for the altarpiece. Pamela, did you want to join that as well, or probably not? No.
No. Okay.
Right. Pamela says that the Justice Center may be a good place to put it. That said, the Justice Center is going under a significant renovation right now. So that would be fairly off of the market for some amount of time. So if the group is agreeable, we'll just start with sitting down with our friends at the library and go from there.
And would you be setting that meeting up? Am I?
Yes.
Okay. So just let us know. Just a heads up. I am not around very much at all in March.
Okay. I will get on your, we'll talk offline and get a task force meeting set up. All right.
Okay. Good job, everyone. Commissioner comments. Any more comments, announcements, or things that you want to ask about? Yes, Iris.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just wondered, what is going on with the aprons or t-shirts that we were talking about? Is anything, I never heard the end of that story, so.
We had aprons made.
Oh, okay, cool,
T-shirts are still in the ether somewhere.
okay, all right. Just wondered.
We definitely will revisit t-shirts, but last year's budget, we chose aprons. So
Okay.
we have one for you. And then we have extras at the office. So when we do outreach events, we'll bring them. So everyone has an apron. They're very cute.
Cool.
Cool. That sounds cool. We've needed that. Well, speaking of that, what about our name tags? Are we still on the waiting for our name tag things from the city?
We have name tags.
Okay, all right.
You
Okay,
just-
Nettie.
We'll have to turn
Okay.
them in at the end of the events.
Right.
So we lose them.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Okay,
I have
Nettie.
I have a question. Maybe I missed a meeting or discussion of this, but what's going on with the bridge, Main Street South Bridge, those mosaic pieces, repair of
So-
those?
Sure. So the artist was contacted that piece is out of warranty after 3 years. So they will need to come when the weather is conducive to getting up and taking a look at how to rebond them. Meantime, the plan that they had for adhesive, they did a test on it and it did not work the way that they need it to. So they'll have to work with our friends with the city in getting a lift down to the river and getting up there, but they can't do it when the weather's freezing. So it'll probably be spring by the time they look at it again. Have you noticed though, it's delaminating quite a bit?
I haven't looked at it closely, but it's stable enough until then.
I mean, I
What can you
hope
do,
so.
huh?
There's only, and here's the other fun thing. That's a little TMI, but because 287 is a state highway, they have to go about it by getting the lift and getting it down by the river, or we'll have to work with CDOT. And that is a bigger animal. So we're just gonna take it one little step at a time. In my nightmare world, we have to remove that piece for remediation, but we're working on it.
Are you saying that more than one of the plinths is delaminating?
No, I can just tell just the one
Just the one.
that I can tell.
Are they going to look at all the other ones too?
If
And
we
just
come
make-
up with a plan of when we rebond the pieces that are falling off, I'm going to suggest that we do some sort of sealant. And in fact, when I was speaking with Mario Echeverria about the Unity project, he was telling me about some sort of, I hate to say the word, but it's true, like rubber that goes on, because if you can imagine, you have concrete, then you have whatever your adhesive is, and then you have the mosaic. What's happened, of course, is that water has gotten between the base concrete and the mosaic and is frozen and thawed, and it's starting to peel. Just like what happened in your bathroom, right? If you treated tile that way. And so what he's suggesting is then after you create an entire layer and get all of the pieces rebonded, then you do a subsequent like sealant layer that he says it's kind of like rubber, and it doesn't allow the shine to come through. So I know that there are products out there, but it's going to be a slow go of figuring out what and how.
Sounds like whatever we decide would work for that sort of thing would also work at Stephen Day Park when we
Yes.
get those done.
Yes. And because of the nature of procurement rules, we have to bid things out, but I have to adhere to the contract for each of the artists, which basically gives them first right of refusal in being part of that remediation thing. It's complicated. But yes, I agree. On our mosaic, artworks. Colorado's just, it damages these kinds of things. So good question, Nettie.
Okay, thanks.
And speaking of that, I know that we have like ice and snow on the ground in some places right now, but what about the Kitely ground mural?
It was
Is it sealed again
last
now?
year.
It's sealed. Yeah.
Yep. It was sealed last year, so now it's just a matter of keeping an eye on it and seeing if, same word, right? Delamination, that there's concrete and then there's paint on top of that. And what we found last year was probably because of the ground temperature when it was applied, it wasn't holding the way that it was supposed to.
Mm.
So we then we repainted and then treated it. And so now it's just keeping an eye on it and seeing if that should work. We were told 3 years and it didn't even make it 1. So the point is we're not going to do projects, right, as a commission and put dollars into things that doesn't have the staying power. So that's yet another, people in our residents are excited about ground murals. They're excited about murals generally speaking. And we just have to make sure that we're using the best products that are going to hold up in our climate.
Okay, now at the end of the meeting, we're being visited by kitties who are all beautiful. Let's see, there was one other thing I was going to ask about. Oh, the mural at 9th and Alpine looks good to me. Did it get, I mean, I've been down there several times recently. It looks good.
Hasn't been
actually,
tagged over the holidays, knock on wood.
The trail is closed. The trail by the ditch is closed right now because they're working on maintenance on that, on the little bridge that's a little bit south of the mural. So haven't gone that way for a little while because the trail is closed, but it's looking good, looking good. And whatever they tagged with was able to be removed quickly and effectively.
Yeah, because Laura and I are graffiti team numero dos, and we attacked that thing with freezing cold weather, and we did our best in November to scrub graffiti off. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
We did a good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
We voted in November to get another camera. Did we do that?
The city is looking into a different camera system. I sent the email, and I guess the safety, I don't want to speak out of turn. The police officers are going to be using one system, and then the city's using another system. So yes, we are going to get another camera. When and what system is questionable, but it's underway anyway.
Okay. All right. Good news. Okay. Anybody else can think of anything else? All right. Fun activities going on this year. Yes, ma'am, Cindy. You need to unmute, honey.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Do we have a second? Okay, Iris, are you seconding? Okay. All right. All in favor of adjourning the meeting, please raise your hands. Okay. Looks like unanimous. Okay. Okay, we are adjourned at 7:56 p.m. How cool. We did great.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.